Hey everyone, this is Kostya Kavutskiy here for Chess.com, and today I'm just going to be talking about a form of tactic which is known as the pin. A pin is really best described with an example, so let's just jump right into it. In this position here, we have a pin along the e-file. The white rook is pinning the knight to the black king. Why do we call this a pin? Well, the knight legally cannot move. If the knight moves somewhere, then the rook will be checking the king, which is illegal. This means that the knight can't move, and thus is a target which white can attack. Okay, that's why pins are very useful, and a lot of strong players are constantly looking to pin their opponent's pieces. When a piece can't go anywhere, when it can't run away from you, then it's very easy to just attack and win it. So what's the best move here for white? Okay, there are a couple of different ways to attack this knight. The best way to exploit this pin here is to play this move d4. Now you're attacking the knight with something less valuable. This is not a good trade for black, but he doesn't really have an option because this knight legally can't move. So on the next move, white is just going to be winning material. Let's take a look at another example. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do here is try to find where the pin is. An experienced player can find the pin very easily because they're used to what they look like and they can identify them right away. In this position, the pin is here. Okay, the white bishop is pinning the black knight to the queen. Here there is a very important difference. In this position, the piece at the back end of the pin is the queen, whereas before it was the king. So you're not allowed to leave your king in check, but you're always allowed to hang your queen, right? So pins are still useful because it's not a very good idea for black to just move his knight away and drop his queen, but that does give you extra options in getting out of the pin because you're still legally allowed to move the knight. Okay? In this example, black has the option of playing knight g4 check. Black is leaving his queen hanging, but what he's doing is he's attacking a more valuable piece, the king. White doesn't have time to take the queen. He has to deal with this check and he can capture, and now black can take this bishop. So this is just a concrete example. You're not always going to be able to move your pinned piece and make a check, but that's just one possibility you should look out for if you're trying to get out of a pin. Okay, in this position, white here is a very good move, exploiting a potential pin that hasn't been created. White can play knight d6, checkmate. So the knight is giving check to the king has no squares it can go to, and this pawn cannot capture the knight because the white queen would be checking the black king. So because there's no way to get out of check in the next move, it's checkmate. So that's another example of how you can use pins to your advantage. A lot of times you can use the squares that that piece attacks and exploit them. So even though this pawn is threatening the d6 square, once the pin is set up, it actually can't go there, which makes its control of it sort of irrelevant. As you find more and more pins in your games, you'll soon be able to recognize immediately how to take advantage and exploit them. Okay? So let's take a look at the position we have in front of you now. You've probably noticed the pin already. Rook is pinning the bishop to the other rook. So how can white take advantage of this? Well, you want to attack the pinned piece, right? A good way to do it would be bishop a6. Okay, black captures the bishop, then we win the rook, and we're also going to checkmate the king. Another way to do it would be to play bishop f3, attacking the bishop from this diagonal. Both options are fine, but actually we're setting a trap with this move, bishop f3. Black might want to play e4, sort of blocking this attack, but if we remember how powerful pins are, we know that we can just play bishop takes e4. And it's the same situation. The bishop is pinned, so we cannot recapture our bishop. As you become more and more acquainted with pins, you'll also find clever ways to get out of pins. So let's alter the position slightly. And let's say white tries the same thing with bishop f3. So now black has the opportunity to play rook c8 and threaten rook c1 check, followed by mate. So white doesn't have time to take this bishop because he's going to get mated, right? Which means that while he's defending against this checkmate, you have time to move your bishop since it's no longer pinned. With that, I'd like to remind you guys just a few basic tips about pins. The first thing is that when you have pinned a piece of your opponent's, then that piece can't move and is very vulnerable to attack. So you should try to attack it. Next thing is that if you're the one in a pin and your piece is being pinned, look for ways to get out of the pin. The most common way is to simply just attack the piece that is pinning your piece. For example, if we have this position and black sets up this pin here, a lot of times all you need to do to get out of a pin is just to play here, attacking this bishop, and once the bishop moves, then you can play here, and well, you're out of the pin. So I wish you good luck in your games, and I hope you find this tactic very helpful. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you around on Chess.com.